Hey there, guys. From WinBeta. Went down that time. And welcome to the WinBeta podcast. This is episode 42, right?
Yes, 40-something.
42.
We're losing track.
42. So there you go. And as always, I'm one of your hosts, Sean Michael. I'm here with co-host Zach Bowden.
Hello, everybody. How are we?
Zach, how's that Microsoft band?
How are these Microsoft bands? They're great. Yeah. I'm wearing two of them for the extra help.
Rocking them bands.
I received a Microsoft Band 2 this week. It was really great. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that later in the show. Super awesome. Yes.
Yeah, so this week we got, it's a fair amount of news. We got news this week. Windows 10 stuff, mobile stuff, some hardware impressions on some of the new Microsoft hardware stuff, and some other general news and that sort of thing. But the first story here is we're going to say happy birthday to Windows. It is the big 3-0, which is the age that operating systems tend to get a little self-conscious about their age.
A bit midlife crisis.
They say, did I meet the goals that I set when I was 20? And where am I going in the future? And am I gonna have a little baby operating system, or maybe that's not the life that I want to choose? So it's got to decide, and it has Windows 10 Mobile coming, so I guess it has one on the way. So, and IoT, it's actually got quite a few kids at this point.
I would actually say Windows already went through a midlife crisis with Windows 8. It tried to change and be hip, and nobody liked it, and he lost all his friends. Now he's kind of back to the old way, and people are starting to warm up to him again.
Wearing like a leather jacket, picking up bad habits, just try to get people like you. Don't do that, kids.
There goes old Windows. But yes, Windows is 30 years old. 30 years of Windows. Before 30 years, there was no Windows. Now there's Windows. Windows 1.0 released on November 20th, 1985. Been a long time. I wasn't born. See, a hint to how old I am. I was not born in 1985, so I missed I wasn't around when Windows didn't exist. So Windows has technically been in my life, all my life, which is very interesting. I guess it's the same for you as well.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Not 30 as well. See, 30, I consider 30 old. If you're 30 years old,
than 20.
You are old. You see, you're not 30, you're still young. You're still hip.
I suppose.
You could ride a skateboard and I wouldn't judge you.
You'd judge me if I was on a skateboard.
Well, but 30 years old. Windows is now old. 3 decades of Windows is a long time. And Sean, what was your first Windows operating system? I guess that's the question to ask on a day like this.
I want to say the first Windows operating system I actually saw and recognized was 95.
Yes, same here.
I think the first Windows operating system where I noticed it was there was ME. You remember that?
Windows ME, yeah. Millennium Edition.
I didn't especially care, to be honest, but I think that was the first one I remember, the welcome screen of Windows, and it was Windows ME, and it had a little italics green thing. And so that's the first one I really remember personal computer use that I really used. 95, obviously, I was look, Zach's age is the secret mystery. I'm 26. And so for me, I was born in 89. Obviously, 95, I was relatively young when that came out.
See, I wasn't into computers really before 95. My first computer was a 95 computer, Windows 95 computer. I used to love the startup sounds of Windows, the old stupid trumpet and whatever else they used to start up. I used to love it. And I had 95 and I had Windows 2000. I didn't use Millennium, and then I jumped to XP, and I was on XP for a long time. I didn't move to Vista. I didn't use Vista on my primary machine anyway, and then I went to 7, 8, 10, whatever else. But yeah, Windows 95 was my first. 95 was the first version of Windows to introduce the start menu we all know and love. Well, the first iteration of the start menu we all know and love. It was a simple menu, had the list of all programs, File Explorer, whatever else. Or what was it called back then? Windows Explorer, I think it was. It was the Windows Explorer. It came with Internet Explorer, did it? I believe it did. Oh no, it came with, there was additional plus packs, wasn't there, for Windows 95, which added certain features and stuff, which I thought was hilarious. Feature packs, almost like how we're doing it these days with Threshold 2 and Redstone. But yes, a very long time ago, 30 years is a long time of Windows, and hopefully we'll have 30 more years of Windows to come. Hopefully Windows 10 evolves and develops into more than just Windows 10 over time. Because right now, people are having a lot of issues with Windows 10. If you haven't noticed, Sean is having some issues on his mobile device with Windows 10. I've seen many on Twitter complain about Windows 10 on their PCs. Meanwhile, I'm having a great time with Windows 10. It's working perfectly. I've been using my phone all day. It's only on 50% battery life on a 12-hour charge so far. Amazing. And Sean's like...
And Zach, that's... Oh, it's just not there. I'm on battery saver and I can't get through the whole day right now.
See, I'm on 51% and I took off this... It's been off the charger for 12 hours and I'm on 50%. So that's
and you're on a Lumia 930, which are kind of known for poor battery life in the first place.
I'm having a great time. I'm having a laugh, mate. My Windows 10 PC doing well. I mean, I'm having a few issues with Intel display drivers crashing, but I mean, I'm happy with it. I use Edge every day. Edge is a good browser.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, honestly, we nitpick. Our fans, we have a high standard for Windows. We expect perfection, and it's not there, so we're gonna get frustrated. But to be honest, I mean, think of what, I mean, honestly, what computers do in society. Obviously, computers are running operating systems. The vast majority of them are on a version of Windows. It's changed the world. I don't want to say, something so grandiose, but that's true. I mean, can you imagine a world without operating systems?
I believe the original idea for Windows was to have a PC in every home, on every desk, running Windows. And I would like to say Microsoft has achieved that goal.
Check. Now it's everyone that isn't using a desk. It's mobile. It's
everybody has Windows in their pockets and in their eyeballs. And
I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that, but that's the goal, right?
Well, HoloLens is kind of on your eyeballs, or displaying it to your eyeballs.
Contact lenses.
Windows contact lenses. Wow, that'd be crazy. But
Windows Lens and Windows HoloLens.
Windows Lens. So yes, long time of Windows. But Windows may be 30, but we're now looking to the future for another 30 years. We're looking at Redstone because there was a little bit of Redstone stuff this week. Microsoft is preparing insiders for Redstone builds, and how they've done this before with the Threshold 1 to Threshold 2 change. What they kind of do is they secretly change the branch you're registered to. So insiders up until a few days ago were registered to the Threshold 2 branch, th2_release, and obviously that's where Microsoft distributed Threshold 2 builds for testing. Now Microsoft has secretly air quotes, changed you over to Redstone 1, rs1_release, and they are preparing to release Redstone builds. Now, I've said this many times, and I'm going to say it again. Microsoft is trying to get a Redstone build out before the end of the year. Whether they succeed or not remains to be seen, but that is what they want. Whether the new build will include any drastic changes before the new year, I doubt, but we may start seeing a few little things changing. I'm hoping to see something that I don't know why it isn't Windows yet. I'm hoping to see a light/dark switcher for desktop. I mean, it's on the phone, but why isn't it on the desktop yet?
There are some very interesting things that are on one but not the other, and just things that get lost from moving from 8.1 to 10 that I'm not sure they needed to remove, and it's just confusing. I'm not angry about it. It's just if you have it, why don't you put it on both? I don't understand. Yeah,
and the weird thing as well on the desktop, there is an actual registry string that you can enable or create, and it actually enables dark mode for you manually. But there's no UI switch for it, and it doesn't work everywhere. Some of the UI elements are still broken. So Microsoft they've kind of half done it, but it's not complete yet for the desktop, even though it's fine. Apparently it works great for the phone. I've noticed it's actually to enable it's quite slow. So if you go into colors here, I don't know if you've had to see this. Let's see if it actually comes up on here. So if you press light, I pressed it and it took 3 seconds to turn to light mode. It's what are you doing, Windows? This used to be an instant switch on Windows Phone 8.1. Why is it now a 3-second lag? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Cadenza pointed out in the comments here on the live stream, and for those who aren't used to tuning in live, always an option if you're free on Friday afternoons or evenings or whatever your time shift makes it. Light dark theme might not work so well because a lot of the Win32 apps aren't going to convert right.
Well, no, I mean, those with the Win32 apps can just remain how they are. I mean, it's more for the taskbar and start menu and some title bars, right? It's not for every single app in history. I mean, that's not how it works on Windows Phone either. I mean, come on, Cadenza. Let's
Look, they ask every week. They ask if we read the comments. I thought I'd just prove that we actually do.
We do read the comments. Let's read the ones that make sense, though. I'm joking. Cadenza, you're great. Let's stop offending the chat.
He's been here for every single podcast, then we're going to offend him off.
Cadenza, we love you. You're like our best listener ever. So move on.
At least one of them. Anyway,
at least one of them.
Moving on before we offend every listener. Redstone moving forward,
Yes, Microsoft finally released another Windows 10 mobile build after however many weeks of waiting. They released a build 10586.11, which is also known as the RTM. Now, I have some more complaining to do about the phrase RTM because people keep telling me that RTM doesn't exist anymore. I don't care what Microsoft says, whether they're not using the word RTM no more. Builds are still being released to manufacturers, and that's what RTM means. It's like, they're like, oh, RTM doesn't exist anymore. It's not RTM. It's a Windows as a service thing. Yes, but they still have to take a build and release it to manufacturers. They still have to choose a build and say, hello, this is the final build. This is the build that will be pre-installed onto new devices and will roll out to the public. That is an RTM build, like it or not. And whether they want to call it that or not, I don't care. It's an RTM build. And I will continue to use the phrase RTM.
I think people might be shooting for I think, though I'm not positive, at a certain point, certain acronyms officially stopped standing for things. I mean, I know, I think KFC at one point did not officially stand for Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore.
All right.
Even though that's what it is. And I think NASCAR used to be an acronym but stopped standing for stuff eventually. So maybe RTM, even though it literally means return to manufacturers, people are like, no, but it doesn't really mean RT. RTM means final. It doesn't mean release to manufacturer. But that is what the letters stand for. So
look, the RTM, people assume RTM is, I mean, because people, when they tell me RTM doesn't exist anymore, they say because Windows is a service, it's never done. But that doesn't explain why RTM doesn't exist anymore. Because RTM has always meant release to manufacturers. That's the code that they're done with, signed off on, and sending to manufacturers. And that's been the case even with Windows 10 or 10.2.40. They sent it to manufacturers. That was the code they signed off on and was pre-installed to new devices and was released to the public. That's nothing has changed there. The only thing that has technically changed is the fact that Microsoft will continue to update that more at a faster pace. Like Windows has always been updatable for Windows. You can update Windows XP to Vista to 7 to 8 to 10, and that happened over the course of 10 years. All of a sudden, it's a lot faster now. People think RTM doesn't exist. It's the same principle, just faster.
Well, yeah. Well, it literally stands for release to manufacturers.
Yeah, it was released RTM, released to manufacturers. 586.11, not .11, but 586 was sent to manufacturers for phone manufacturers to pre-install into their devices and to ship out to people. So,
now, I have a bone to pick, Zach.
Sure.
10.586.11, the way decimals actually work, .11 is lower than .6.
It's not really a decimal. It's more of it's a day. I believe they're day 0 patches or day 1 patches. So it's just it goes.
But it
up.
says, but it is a decimal. It's right here on my screen.
Yes, but it's more a a version of that build. For put it plainly, it's 10.586.1 would be one new version of that build, then .2, and then so this is .11. Which
how many versions of the same build can you have before?
You can have, I guess, as many as you want now, because before with the RTM it was whatever the RTM was. So for the original Windows 10 RTM, it was 10.240.16384. So that's 16,384. And then it will go up from there. So .1 would be 16.384, then it'd be 385, 386, 387. But then they kind of got rid of that. I guess they called it a bug. I'm not entirely sure. And now it's just .1, .2, .3, .4, .5.
So until they recompile it as a new build, it's just new versions of the same build? Is that how that works?
Yes, it's a new version of the same build.
So you can have a million versions of a new build, which kind of, I guess, Windows 7, every update was just a new version of the same build.
Yeah,
right?
but updates don't always change the build number.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Question asked, question answered.
Yes. So as John says, major revision, which would be the actual build number, and then the dot, and then after the dot would be the minor revision of that build. So they recompile off the same build with more fixes, etc., etc.
Right.
So I believe 586.0 is what was sent to manufacturers.
That's what's on the 950, right?
Yes, exactly. So they should, I don't know when Microsoft plans to do it, but I guess it would test how fast they can release updates. But with this new update speedy thing, hopefully they can get 10.586.11 out faster than it would be on Windows 10 8.1, because with Windows 10 8.1 it'd be like months and months of waiting. So hopefully they can get that out a lot faster.
Right. Yeah, I would hope so. I just want mobile to be officially here. Like,
yeah,
we've killed the horse that is the joke of soon, and we will continue to kill that horse. But it happens on a very regular basis. I have a Windows 10 mobile device, and my girlfriend is on a Windows 8.1 because I don't want to put her on preview software. And it's just like, she's like, oh, can I do this? And I'm like, not yet.
Windows
she's
10.
like, what about Groove Music? And I'm like,
Windows 10.
Not yet. And it's like, just wait, keep waiting, honey. It's okay.
You know, I'm so tempted to update my girlfriend's phone. I'm just so ready to do it. But,
well, that phone was my test phone. She let me use that as a test phone for a while.
Yeah.
But now, I wanted it on a stable operating. But it's like, oh, come on, it's been so long since it's soon. Windows 10 Mobile's coming up, and then people were like, is it on the 12th? And I was like, no. Is it on the 20th? And it's like, apparently not. That we have 2 more hours until end of working day.
Does your girlfriend miss her iPhone yet? Like, really miss it? Like, she kind of wants to go back to it.
Banking app, and then the notes section. That was easy, but I got her notes app. I shared it with her, and she likes that. So I wouldn't say she missed it yet. Can I say something? I used an iPhone the other day, and it was like, you know what I must have looked like? I must have looked like when you hand like someone who's never used a phone before a smartphone, because I'm sitting here like ticking at buttons, but there's no swipe keyboard, and the screen was I think it was like the 4-inch model, like, so it was pre the expansion of the screens, and so it's like a small screen, and I'm like pick and peck typing, and like I was like, how did I use, like, this was like revolutionary, and now I just don't think I could switch back to it.
Apple is falling behind, I have to admit, and they're kind of being stupid.
I mean, that's an older phone, admittedly, so it's unfair to judge, but I don't think she really misses it, and I don't miss it. When I go back to try to use an iPhone, it's very foreign to me now.
Yeah, I mean, I still know how to use an iPhone, but I don't like it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
We should also talk about people complaining about the RTM build of Windows 10 Mobile, because a lot of people aren't happy with the state of it. So 10.586.11, although it's technically, consumer ready, Microsoft is technically done with that. They will send that to people, and they are now working on another future update. 5.86 still doesn't feel perfect, and to be fair, it's software, so software will never be perfect, but this is kind of more rougher than usual. But to be fair, I'm not too surprised about this, because with the Windows 10 RTM in July, that was kind of rough around the edges, and Threshold 2 was supposed to fix that, but it kind of didn't. But with Threshold 2 not fixing the desktop, really, it hasn't. I'm not surprised it's not really great on the phone either. So as per usual, soon, guys, 2016, everything will be better.
Well, come on. Windows 10 Mobile is coming out before 2016.
No, yeah, but Redstone would be an update that fixes everything on Windows 10 Mobile. So Microsoft would be, here's a new version of Windows 10. It's a little bit broken. Just beta test it for us, even though you're not an insider. And then in the new year, in 2016, we'll release another update that will fix all those issues and introduce new issues for you to deal with. Because that's just kind of how it works on a rolling update.
Maybe they could just have us like beta test hardware and software at the same time. Look, there was an article this week on a very public website that talking about how Panos Panay just straight up uses a Surface Mini on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, like, apparently that's not like a secret. Like, he just uses it, it's there, and he can do what he wants. But, like, we want that. Send us the beta software, Microsoft. We'll beta test hardware, we'll beta test software, we'll beta test everything.
Yeah, him actually saying that he uses a Mini was quite funny, because we all knew it existed, but Microsoft was so keen on never mentioning it, and then Panos comes like, yeah, I Surface Mini on the side of my bed every night. It's great.
It's not like, yeah, I had it and it existed. He was like, no, I use it every night. Like, it's on my bedside table.
You know what makes me sad about most employees at Microsoft? They have access to so many cool things that the public never get to see. Like, I can guarantee you that there are some early Windows 10 ARM builds that can run on Surface RT and Surface 2. I bet employees have their Surface RTs running Windows 10 ARM and it's like having a great time at the start menu and Continuum. And then we're here just like, oh, Windows Update 3. Great.
With your new Surface 2 that you just bought.
I did buy Surface 2. So the reason I bought it, because it was so cheap, and I thought, I got to have that. I've got an RT, I've got a Surface 3, I've got to have the Surface 2 just to kind of have. And yeah, okay, it was stupid. It was like less than 100 quid, and it's kind of in relatively new condition. It came in a box that is actually in good condition also. So I thought, that's a bargain. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah,
and
there you go. Do you think 10586 is ready for RTM?
Well, I'm going to say yes because I'm used to bugs, and to be fair, 586 has been running majorly smooth for me, minus a few graphical glitches. Everything is fine. The meshing app is a pain in the backside though. I will open it, and it'll crash, and then it'll just, why are you crashing? And then I have to open it again, and then sometimes it keeps resyncing old Skype messages that they won't go away. It's just like
can't delete your messages, Zach. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably move on for time's sake, huh?
Oh yeah, we're 20 minutes in. We're only 3 stories.
Yeah. We're 2 stories in. So
right.
yeah, there we go. All right. So there was a lot of news over the last couple of weeks about bridges to Microsoft and to Windows. Astoria, the bridge for Android apps, and it's worth clarifying that I guess they said it's on the back burner, but it's kind of gone indefinitely, at least for a while, and Astoria is kind of going away, at least for now, and if not, we don't know how long. Islandwood got outlined by Microsoft. They're saying that it's in the future and how they're going to do that and what their plans are. Here, there are also some rumors going on about how Win32 apps might work with Continuum. So there's kind of a lot of this bridging and jumping things that are going on this week. So instead of just like running down every bit of the news, kind of want to talk about like why this is kind of what's important, which bridges matter, which ones don't. Sound off in the comments too. But Zach and I kind of got to get this down here. Let me just get this out of the way. Obviously, in a perfect world, from a Microsoft perspective, every single bridge would work flawlessly. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's better that one of them is broken or whatever. But I would say losing Astoria is, one, it's not as big as if they lost Islandwood. And two, because there is an Islandwood in general and there's a viable alternative, I don't think it's as big of a deal. I can see why some people are upset because this was like the easiest of the bridges. It's the closest to copy and paste and plug and play that they could have had. But I would say that it's very rare for me to see apps that are Android exclusive that I want. Almost every app that you see, it goes available in the App Store and Google Play. It's very standard nomenclature on ads that they have an app for Android and iOS. So I don't think this is as big of a loss because Microsoft was smart and they didn't put all their eggs in one basket. So that's kind of my take on Islandwood Astoria. But do you agree with me on that?
I entirely agree with you. It doesn't make sense for them to have both bridges, whereas Astoria was kind of bulky and slow and bogging down the Windows 10 mobile platform, and Islandwood isn't because it's kind of more of a direct port. So with the Astoria bridge, there was a number of things Microsoft needed to implement into the operating system for the emulation side of it to run. And that was kind of slowing it all down. I did say this, and lots of people said, no, it's not slowing the system down. I did say this before the report came out, I think it was this week or last week, about Astoria going away. I had mentioned many times on Twitter that it was going away and it was being shelved or whatever else. And I did say the reason is because it was slow. One of the reasons, there were multiple reasons. Some of them were political even. But one of the other reasons was because it was kind of bogging down the operating system and slowing it down. And lots of people said to me, no, it's not true. It's fine. I'm like, well, that's not what they're saying. That's not what the people who are telling me are saying. They're saying they're kind of wanting to shelf it because of it being so clunky and disgusting. Because it's Android after all. Android is disgusting. It's just a disgust. You know how you see like sometimes a disgusting operating system. It's just Android. Android is a disgusting operating system. It may look nice on the front. It's just disgusting though. Or it used to be at least. I haven't used Android 6 or 5 or 4. So yeah. They got rid of it, they pulled it out, and Windows 10 Mobile is a lot better. If it was still there, it would be hilarious, I think, on Windows 10 Mobile.
Now, could I ask, Caden's pointed out, and I'm sure others have, I'm not up to date on, I don't know a lot about the coding side of this. You see, he says that Islandwood only works for x86, and Astoria works for RAM only.
Well, you're talking about the emulation, right? Then, so we're talking about the actual porting of a universal platform. Because Microsoft was half worried about apps just kind of being emulated on the Windows 10 mobile platform. This is what I've been told, and they kind of want developers to port their apps, which is entirely different. Being that porting an app means it runs natively on the operating system. And with Islandwood, there was no emulation for their apps in the first place, so developers actually have to take a look at their code, take that code, port it to the universal platform, and then make edits to it so it runs fine on the universal platform for Windows. Whereas Astoria, you could just kind of take an app, regardless of what it was, emulate that with an Android emulator within Windows 10 Mobile, on the top of Windows 10 Mobile, and it would run there like that. So Microsoft has taken that out, and the bridge is kind of on hold, whatever else, and they're now focusing entirely on Islandwood.
Yeah, I would say that I'd prefer, like I said, it'd be better if they both were there. But I don't think it's as big of a loss as it could be, because if people were going to use it, I think they could use Islandwood. You know what I mean? I think most companies have app developers for both. So anyway, let me transition a bit to Win32 on Continuum.
Just before you do that, someone said in the chat, though it says Astoria works better. It does work better with the porting thing, but you're right, Microsoft doesn't want to compete against those apps in the store as well, because it's very easy for a developer to just take an Android code, throw it on the universal platform, and with very little code changes, get it up running on the store. But Microsoft kind of doesn't want that. They kind of want to make sure their apps feel native or nativer.
Like Candy Crush.
Like Candy Crush.
No, I mean it. I mean, that one was using, I don't think it used all of Islandwood, but it did use, I think, some of the same principles.
Yes, no,
right?
But yeah, Astoria's going away. It's been going, I was told it was gone in the beginning of October, or it was going at that point, I don't remember. But I didn't say anything for a while because I kind of couldn't be bothered. I mean, I don't know about Astoria or Islandwood at all, really. This isn't something that I'm interested in.
Barring everything we just talked about, apparently
I did research about this, guys. I had to read up about it for you lot. But yeah, I mean, people kept asking me, why, I asked 5 or 6 times, is Astoria still in Windows 10 Mobile? Is Astoria still in Windows 10 Mobile? Is it still there? And everyone kept saying, no. And by the time the RTM, I thought, okay, fine, it's not coming back. It's gone, guys.
Yeah. And because what they have to do with Islandwood, it's going to scale, because if they do it this way, they can make universal apps using code, and it's just going to scale better. It's going to make a better experience. And like I said, I think most developers develop for iPhone. Time's sake, we're going to move on to the Win32 aspect of this. Do you think that would be a game changer for Continuum on phones?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen the Continuum for phone demos today, or from the reviews for the 950, and they all complain about it being a little bit basic and only running for universal apps. If Microsoft can get Continuum to run Win32 apps on a 32-bit platform, that would be great, because then imagine being able to take your phone and then running around with it and then plugging it into a dock and running Chrome on it, like full Chrome or
full anything.
True. I mean, if your phone could run it, do you reckon the Lumia 950 can run Photoshop and Premiere Pro?
I mean, I think you look at phones now. There's liquid cooling. There's really high RAM. There's high amounts of memory. Good processing. Obviously, it's going to take a while to be able to handle every type of, but just the concept. I think Continuum would be the biggest. And you know what? The number one thing, Zach, if Win32 apps can run on phones, you know what Microsoft can say? Well, they can hold up a phone and say, this has more apps than an iPhone.
They can say that, but whether they do or not, they probably won't.
But the point is, they could actually say that. They could say, guess what? Last year you heard this. This has more apps than an iPhone right now. Because that's true, right? There's more Win32 programs combined than iPhone. Oh yeah,
there's millions of Win32 programs, yeah. But you got to remember as well that I believe does Continuum work without the dock?
I read a review on 950 and it works over Miracast.
Yeah, but you have to have a specific Miracast dongle.
No, they're recommending one, but it doesn't have to be a specific one.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. Then they could technically say that. I was going to say, if it requires...
that's what I read. I don't have one on me, but he said Microsoft is recommending this one and says that it has the best performance, but there's no proof to that, I guess.
Yeah, no. I mean, if Microsoft were, if it required a separate accessory, I guess they couldn't say that. But if it's actually something they can just run on anything, then yeah, why not? I mean, why not say that? Yeah.
The only I read it. We'll get. I guess. Well, why don't we just jump to that now with the 950? Can we do that?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do in the future when I get the Surface phone that runs Win32 apps? I'm going to stream the podcast from my phone.
Well, I want to do that. I think the first one of us that gets this Continue should do an article, and it's I put my computer in a trunk and only used a Continuum device for a month.
Yeah, do you reckon you could run on? Do you reckon you Continuum in its current state? Well, from what you've seen and from what people have said, do you reckon you could run on Continuum full time for phones?
Well, no, I'm using like 4 peripherals right now.
Yeah, but you can use wireless keyboards and mouses and mice.
Can I use this microphone and a webcam?
Maybe not. I don't know. See, I haven't tried it. I mean, the last time I tried Continuum for phones, I wrote up about it, and that build was, well, now it is. That build is so old now. It didn't have a task switch on the taskbar. It didn't have notification center access, and like it was very buggy. Yeah. The Continuum for phones that is shipping on the 950 and that is so much better than the build I tried. So I kind of can't say anything now. So yeah. I tried a super old build and it was kind of weird.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's jump to the 950 thing because we're on that already. We have people handling that. I think the 950 to me personally. Well, this is actually your story, so I guess that's you. But yeah, I just remember it this way. I don't care if a phone is plastic usually, but apparently that's the feedback some people are getting. Is that you're hearing the same thing?
Yes. Wait, hang on. The order's messed up for me. Do we have Windows 10 mobile market share next?
I guess. Go ahead. Whatever. But let's do the 950 first, and we'll go back.
All right, fine. We'll go to the 950. Sorry, that completely caught me off guard. Yes. Lots of people are very upset with the... well, the viewers at least are upset with the Lumia 950 being polycarbonate, which we knew for a long time it was going to be polycarbonate. But because of it being polycarbonate, they kind of just turned around and said it's a Windows phone. It's nothing exciting. It's kind of meh at that. And I mean, sure, under the hood, it's got superb specs, and it's a very powerful phone on the inside. But on the outside, it's kind of just like, yeah. it's a phone. It's nothing special. I mean, it's if you look at this is the 640 XL. This probably feels very similar to the 950 XL, being like plastic back. I mean, I believe the screen's glass on the 950 XL, but this is a plastic screen on the front. It's just, you know, it's not what you would expect from a flagship. But then again, all Lumias have for a long time been polycarbonate, minus the 930, which has an aluminium ring around the side of it, which actually does make it feel nicer, I must admit. The 920 was all polycarbonate. The 925 was aluminum with, again. So since the 925, I guess it's been a while then. The 925 onwards, the flagships have had metal around them.
Now, do you you know those like third-party cases and stuff? Like the Mozo cases for the 950. Are those for both flagships or only the XL?
They do Mozo for 950 and 950 XL.
Maybe Microsoft should market some of those kind of together. You know how they have these like packages and it's like buy the phone, get the dock for free and stuff like that. Maybe they should do some sort of work a deal with some of these third-party guys, and they say buy the phone, get this, because then it looks premium. You know what I mean? Like you would leave the store and it would look premium, but not charging you an extra $50.
People are shouting out Lumia brands in the chat now. The 95 I mentioned, the 830 isn't a flagship; it's a mid-ranger technically. The 1320 and the 1520 are all plastic, or polycarbonate at least. So you know, Microsoft has kind of gone in and out. But with these 950 flagships, they didn't go the route of aluminium on the sides. They went with pure plastic, like the 640, which is weird. Because why would you do that? It's your flagship. It has a removable back. You could at least have aluminium sides on it. Like you said, the Mozo company, the third-party case designer, they are designing cases with aluminium sides or metal sides that you can place onto the thing. Why can't Microsoft just made that in-house?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they should have, because I do think. First, I think the camera looks ugly on the 950 compared to the 950 XL, and then also they don't have the that metal ring, which is a shame, because otherwise I'm hearing camera's great. You know,
I mean, everything else about the device is great. I mean, the software is also something people have moaned about. Then again, we've already spoken about Windows 10 Mobile being a little bit buggy. But I mean, The Verge gave the 950 a terrible review. I think they gave it a 6 out of 10, which is they really didn't like it.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't handled it myself, so I can't say firsthand. I refute that.
I will have a go at it on December 2nd in London because I will be.
Yeah, and we'll see what you think.
I'll be attending. Well, there's no point to be out of everywhere else by then, but I'll be attending the London launch event for one of the London ones. I'll be at the O2 store in Tottenham Court Road for the London Lumia 950 launch event, which I should hopefully be able to buy a 950 XL at the event with a Continuum dock, which would be very nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we have to wait and see. I think they should have had the metal ring, like you said, because if the phone looks premium, then people are willing to think that it is premium, and then they notice that it has an excellent camera and all those other features and a good display, etc. So we'll see what that is. And honestly, to transition back to what we're supposed to be talking about next, and I have rearranged the order.
Yes, thank you.
All this is, I would say, relatively bad news because we recently found out that the Windows 10 mobile market share has dropped to 1.7%. Yeah. So we're kind of looking to the flagships to kind of help that number, but that's not. The number's even lower than it was a little bit ago.
Is that Windows 10 mobile specifically, or Windows Phone as a whole?
Did I say Windows 10?
You did.
I mean, I think it's Windows Phone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Windows Phone.
If Windows 10 Mobile as a whole was already at 1.7, that would be quite a thing.
Yeah.
Windows Phone is apparently not doing great. It's at 1.7 market share. So that's not. I never thought that these flagships would like turn the whole thing around. I think the Surface Phone is what's going to do that if that does indeed come. But according to these stats, the market share number is even lower than that 3% that we've all kind of gotten used to. Let me see here if I have worldwide ending. Yeah, third quarter. Yeah, so if you go down, it's just not looking. Windows is 1.7% versus Android's 84.7 and iOS is 13.1. And this says that it's worldwide smartphone sales to end users by operating system in third quarter of 15. So I don't know if that's cumulative. This stat might be a little misleading. How would you read that?
Windows
Is that
10 Mobile.
Cumulative?
I'm not sure, but Windows 10 Mobile losing traction right now or Windows Phone losing traction right now. I'm not surprised. This is Microsoft kind of gave up on Windows Phone 8, I would say. There hasn't been a major update for Windows Phone since Windows Phone 8.1 back in April 2014. That was a long time ago now. And iOS has had iOS 7, 8, and I think 9, or at least iOS 8 and 9 since then. And Android has had 5 and 6. And we're on 8.1 still. So technically, because Windows 10 Mobile hasn't started rolling out yet to existing devices. So it's been a long time, and I'm not surprised that people are moving away from the platform now since Microsoft have waited so long. But to be fair, I don't think Microsoft cares much about the mobile platform anymore.
I don't think they care much about the market share of it as long as it does what they want. Yeah,
and I think Microsoft is kind of hoping to come back to it in the future.
I think they care. Does it appeal to enterprise users? Is there enough ground? Is Windows 10 Mobile going to be a good enough operating system that it could run a Surface Phone? Those sorts of things. That's what I think what they're more worried about right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We're a long podcast. We probably get going here.
Yeah, we should. You said to me earlier, there's no stories this week. There's no stories. We have a lot to talk about, apparently.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Mi 4? Or do you want to skip that for time?
We should probably skip it, yeah.
Skip it. The Mi 4 might run Windows 10.
Because we know Microsoft is testing the Mi 4 with Windows 10, which is, for those who don't know, an Android device. Microsoft was working on making a ROM for that Android device that was Windows 10 Mobile. That could be coming publicly very soon. Moving on. Band 2 impressions.
Yeah, let's hear about your Band 2, because you have it right now. I want to see it. I want to hear it.
I love the Band 2. I have the Band 1 here, and I liked the Band 1. The Band 1 was very nice. The only complaint I had with the Band 1 was that it was horribly designed, very bulky, very uncomfortable to wear. The Band 2 is worlds more comfortable to wear, and the screen is a little bit bigger and a little more sharper, and it's just nicer to use. It's slightly curved, and it's just a nicer. It's a more premium and nicer feeling device to wear and to use. There's a few new features. It is running a UI that's more similar to Windows 10, so buttons are like Windows 10 now, whereas this one had more like Windows 8 style buttons. Very, very nice. A couple more sensors so I can now track floors I walk up. So walking upstairs, what floors I travel in the day. I can finally, with the Band 2, I can set an alarm whilst using the sleep mode. Like before, that wouldn't be a thing on the Band 1. You can finally do that now. A lot of cool things. Very, very happy with the Band 2. Also, another thing I noticed, with the Band 1, I'd receive a text on here and it wouldn't buzz on my watch for like 5 or 10 seconds. With the Band 2, it comes before it buzzes on the phone sometimes. It's kind of weird. But yeah, very, very nice. Very improved. I recommend the Band 2 over the Band 1 any day. But if you're tight on money, the Band 1 is a great buy, because right now it's how much in the UK store?
$59.99 on Amazon
60
UK.
quid on Amazon UK. That is, you should buy 7 of them and give them to people for Christmas.
I actually talked to Lee about this, and I was, because we're trying to both, you gotta stay in shape, et cetera, et cetera, and because she has a Windows phone, this is the only smartwatch that fully, blah blah blah, et cetera. And she said, well, how much does the Band 2 cost? And even she said, I can't, afford. It's not that she couldn't afford it. She just said, I can't justify. That's what she said. Spending
it's a lot of money for
affording isn't if you can afford it or not wasn't the issue. It was she said, I can't justify. So sorry for misquoting, but yeah. And then I said, well, this other one's cheaper, and she's, yeah, but it's so big. It's kind of the feel that we both have is the original Band 1. Can I ask you a couple specific questions? Then we got to scoots on.
Sure.
Does the curved screen make that big of a difference?
Absolutely. You know what? It's kind of crazy. My finger glides over it compared to the Band 1, which is just kind of like dragging along the screen. It's kind of like I'm using my finger to glide along the planet Earth or whatever. Yeah. It's a lot nicer.
And then is the clasp that big? It looks pretty big in the photos.
It's a little. Let's put the Band 1 on and compare. I believe they're about the same. Yeah, they're about the same.
So it's still pretty big because they shoved the battery in there.
Yeah, maybe the clasp on the Band 1 is a tiny bit smaller. Just take a look. I guess you can't see it, but the audience can see it slightly. I'd say they're pretty much identical. Maybe the Band 1 is slightly thinner, but not by a millimeter or so. It's not, maybe less than a millimeter. It's not drastic.
Well, there you go.
Still a big clasp overall.
Band 2 impressions. Woo!
Yeah, great. Yes, you can reply to text on the Band and the Band 2.
And does typing work okay with the little keyboard?
Yep, typing works fine. Works the same as the Band 1.
Perfecto. All right, then. Well, let's move right along. This might go long anyway, but let's not make it too long.
You know what? It's Windows' birthday. Let's make it a special. Let's make it as long.
Yeah, we can make it an hour or whatever. 2 hours.
Yeah.
5 hours. Anyway. I did a poll this week. We talked about it earlier, but will Continuum for Windows 10 Mobile be popular? And we already talked about this some. Is it's kind of the 950 and the 950 XL, and there's actually some other phones that are gonna have it too. It's a differentiating factor. You go flagship to flagship. I know it's been a long time since the 930, but a large part of the upgrades from every flagship generation are camera upgrade, speed upgrade. It's thinner, it's lighter, it's faster, whatever. I think I may accidentally just flipped everyone off. Sorry. I was just trying to count. But in any event, but Continuum is a major feature. Whether it's popular or not is what's going to determine if it's actually worth making, especially with Win32 in the future. But so we did the poll, almost 1,500 votes this week. Options were yes, it will be a part of everyday workflow. Yes, but it won't replace hardware. No, it'll be just for niche users. And then no, it'll fizzle out. That sort of thing. So with almost 1,500 votes, the winner, that's a pretty close race. 36% said yes, it will be in people's everyday workflow. And 33% said yes, but it won't replace any hardware, leaving only 28% saying no, it'll just be for niche, and only 3%, which comes out to like less than 50 people, said it'll fizzle out as a feature. So that's a pretty high promise from our pollsters, and we do the poll just about every week now, so make sure you vote on the next one. But what do you think, Zach? Do you think it's where do you fall on this?
I'm excited for Continuum phones. I think it's one of the most exciting features coming from the 950 and the 950 XL. I will definitely be getting a display dock. I'm more excited about the potential it has. Like right now, it's kind of, it's there. but it's not, perfect. And I get that. But then again, Windows 10 as a whole isn't perfect. And I don't know if we answered the question earlier. Is 10.586 for mobile RTM ready? Yes, I do think it's RTM ready. There's a few bugs, obviously, which we have mentioned, but it works, and it works fine majority of the time. You may run into a few graphical glitches, which I said, and whatever else, but it's fine. And Continuum for phones is also fine. It's just not. It's not. I guess I wouldn't say it's not finished, but there's more to come.
Right.
Because
yeah.
It's like Redstone will improve it and whatever else. It's like, I reckon Continuum over time will get better. Same with the Windows 10 mobile operating system as a whole, and I guess Windows 10 everywhere as a whole. Over time, it will get better.
Well, and as Windows 10 develops in both directions, as Windows 10 Mobile becomes more like Windows 10 Full, especially using Continuum, and as the messaging apps and the little passing through features and stuff come there, having a phone plugged in that can get text messages and then open up in Continuum, and having a PC that gets your text messages through the cloud, that experience is going to be more and more similar as you move on. And so I think, like you said, there's a really high ceiling for Continuum. I'm not sure that it's ever going to be like your everyday user. This setup that I have here, the setup that you're using now, maybe couldn't be powered through a phone. But that being said, I could definitely see businesses using it, and I think it ultimately will be popular. So I probably fall between the two yeses.
Here's how I would be planning to use it. I have a Surface 3 there, and that Surface 3 is, it's small. Obviously, it's a small tablet, but I usually carry that in a bag. Now, I don't like carrying bags everywhere. I think it ruins my swagger, so I generally don't take a bag out. But sometimes when I visit somebody's house, I can have a Continuum dock sitting in my pocket. Or they might have a Miracast-enabled device there already, so I might not even have to carry the dock. I take my phone. When I'm out of the house, all I'm ever doing anyway is either browsing the web, checking email, watching a video or two, and writing articles. I'm never editing videos away from us, Sean. Sean's like, "Have you done the podcast?" No, I'm out.
And that's why we do it in the after party.
Yes, that's why I do it in the after party now. So I don't do that. So I can see myself of going to someone's house or staying at someone's house for however long, just using my phone, being productive with just my phone, using Continuum for phones. That's how I'm planning to use it, because I would love to just not have to take a bag out and take the Surface 3 and whatever else. I would just love to be able to just go out with my phone and have everything I need. I have the productivity I need, and just, have that experience wherever I go.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's where Continuum is going to go in the future.
Yes. Do I look really crazy with two bands on?
I can't see you. So
I probably look like a
you have to ask them, Zach.
I mean, I look at it anyway, but
you could compare which is more accurate.
Yeah, but this one's even charged. I don't know why I'm wearing it.
You could do that as part of your review. You could say which is more accurate.
I'm not reviewing it. It's already been reviewed. See, that's the benefit of getting devices late. They've already been reviewed, so you don't have to write 20,000 word review.
Oh, if you wrote a 20,000 word review on the Microsoft Band 2, that'd be pretty impressive.
I wrote a 9,000 word review on Windows 10, which was, God, never again. Never again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there won't be another operating system release, so never again.
True, never again. Hooray!
Yeah, there we go. All right, we'll move on. We actually have some good news for Microsoft this week.
Do we? That's a change.
I know. Well, we report a bunch of bad news. Microsoft Office 365 subscriptions are, I would use the term skyrocketing. Some might say that's a bit drastic, but they are going up. So I'm going to go, this is by quarters, starting Q1 of 2014, and then every new number is a new quarter leading up until Q3 of 2015. And these are, I believe, in millions. Yeah, millions. 4.4, 5.6, 7.1, 9.2. Then we switch into 2015, 12.4, 15.2, 18.2. So it's now up to 18.2 million in Q3 of 2015. Compare that to Q1 of 2014 was only 4.4 million. So it's more than quadrupled.
That's not bad.
In less than 2 years.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. That's about all we can say. No, it's good. Maybe they're just because they're forcing people to get OneDrive storage. No, wait, no.
Or maybe it's because Windows 10, with the Windows 10 mobile update, Office is no longer free.
Could be that too.
You have to have a subscriction now to use Office on your phone. You know what? I didn't actually know that. And when my girlfriend was planning out all of her stuff, I said to her, because she uses Office on her phone and Windows Phone 8.1, she actually uses the Office app and whatever else. And I'm like, you have to pay for that when you get to Windows 10. She's like, what? No. So I bought a subscription because she does need Office a lot. She uses Office more than me. I rarely open Office. Rarely, if ever, open Office. So
I update the podcast stats from my phone all the time.
Yeah. And I guess I open OneNote for this. And I'll only open Word if I'm typing an article away from, I guess, on the Continuum for phones, because it's the only app there is to write notes on or a Word document on. So yeah. But I usually use Notepad or just WordPress.
I think that's kind of a counter Continuum measure by them. Because what if you had a phone and got Office for free and then use Continuum, you're getting like PC, not really PC Office, but you know what I mean? Like Office on a monitor, but through a phone for free. I think they want to make people pay for that.
Yeah.
/ they just like money probably, which is reasonable to some extent, but sometimes over.
Yeah, Cadenza's right. I thought Office was supposed to be free on devices of 10 inches or lower. I can't use Office on I have multiple accounts, and one of my accounts has a 365 subscription, and one of the other Insider accounts I have doesn't, and I can't use Office. It says you can read documents, but you can't edit them without an Office subscription. Have you not had that as well? I guess I could try it now, because this account here doesn't have one.
On which device?
I'm just going to try it now. I've got Office here. I'm going to load it up on this account. So you read the next story because you've got your Facebook story. So let me sign in here.
Woo! All right. So I got a funny story for everybody while Zach does this. So Facebook had this tool this week, and it was on which words you use the most on your Facebook statuses. And so I thought, okay, that'd be fun. So I clicked it. Number one, smack dab in the middle, and I assume that the biggest words were the most used. The number one was Windows, and then right below it was 1. And then my girlfriend's name was like somewhere above that, but slightly smaller. And she commented on it, and she was like, oh, I see where your priorities are. She's joking. The tone might not come through, but she's just picking on me. And she goes, hers literally was Love, Sean, and then my last name. And it was like, so her best ones, her like most used words were like loving or boyfriend, and mine was Windows. So I guess we know what I really use Facebook for. So now I gotta go try to tag and put her name in a new post to change the results.
So it turns out you can edit documents without a subscription on smaller devices, but you can't. A lot of things are locked. So here's what it says. It says, unlock extra features with your Windows tablet and smartphone with Office 365. So for example, in Word, with an Office 365 subscription, you can track and review changes, change page orientation, add custom colors to shapes, insert and edit word art, insert section breaks, insert page and section breaks, add shadows and reflection styles to pictures. So pretty much a lot more in Word. Like without the subscription, all you can do is type words and save a document. With a subscription, it adds a lot more. And for my girlfriend, she needs that because of, obvious reasons. Because she uses Word. She uses Office a lot more than I do. Like for me, I wouldn't actually need one because all I do is, I type a document and I copy and paste it into WordPress. I don't use Word art or insert images or whatever else. So a good thing we actually check that.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, that's why research. That's what it gets you.
But yeah, Cadenza's saying on his phone, it's saying he needs a full subscription, which is sometimes that pops up for me as well. I guess it's a bug.
I think they said that on mine as well. I get it through my uni, so I was cool with it. But I still have paid Office 2013, and I don't really want to get a subscription yet. But
yeah,
anyway.
but you can't have 2013 on your phone. Imagine being able to edit Word on your phone.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna see.
Sure, don't care.
No, I can. I mean, I have like I said, I have Office 365 through uni. So for my phone, I do sign in through my uni account, and I can edit. I do whatever I want on my phone, but I do what I want. I can be productive like a boss wherever I want. There you go. So in any event, do you want to wrap up with the Google one, and then we'll probably wind down?
Sure, let's wrap up the Google one. So guess what? I should have read this this post before we talked about it. As part of Mother's Day, we reported, or someone reported, something about Connect, blah, blah, blah. At the conference, Microsoft introduced various initiatives to cater to developers across multiple different focuses. Microsoft support efforts include massive upgrades to Visual Studio community, such as free online cross-platform Visual Studio, blah, blah, blah. Where's Google in this? As part of Microsoft's continued effort to embrace its collaborative future, the company also invited Google's technical program manager Jules Kremer on stage at the conference to show its willingness to work with Google. However, it was a Google it was a Google engineering director, Brad Green, who took this opportunity to cash in on some positive PR positioning. It really became apparent that we shared the same soul, and we've been able to work really well together because of that. So
yeah, they work really well together.
Yeah,
everybody knows Google and Microsoft are known for being best buddies.
Yeah, so that was Google thinks Microsoft and Google are best buds, even though Microsoft hates Google secretly, and vice versa. So
yeah, I mean, to be fair, they're working on, I think this is a specific project. It says they're collaborating on what's called the Angular project, which is like JavaScript, and they're working together on this one thing. But just like the quote, there's a lot of love about Google and Microsoft working together on an open source project. And it's like, don't give me this rhetoric about open and loving Microsoft. You won't even put YouTube on Windows Phone or Windows, like in general, like, whatever. I mean, we don't need to do a full-blown...
You know what? It turns out...
It's just silly.
Sorry, back to the Office thing. It turns out this account has an Office 365 subscription on it, so that's why it was working. It turns out it does, but it looks as Cadenza sent a screenshot in the chat. It does ask for an Office 365 subscription to use Word on a smaller screen device, so or Office even. So you might want to check that out for yourself, because I haven't got a device here that doesn't have an Office 365 subscription apparently. But oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, they're talking. His quote's probably technically accurate about the specific project and what they're working on, but it kind of sounds weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else for this week?
No, that's it. We skipped a few stories.
I got story. We have so many stories. I have stories left in the after party, so because they're not really big enough to talk about here, but we got stories left over. Anyway, all right. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap that. All right, this has been the WinBeta podcast, episode 42. Answer to everything, right? Is it 42 is the answer, but we don't know the question? Is that how that works?
Yeah, the answer to life, universe, and everything's 42. I'm sure it is. 42.
There you go. Of the WinBeta podcast, as always, I am one of your co-hosts, Sean Michael. You can find me on Twitter at Sean_Michael_UK, and you can find the other co-host, Zach.
Find me on Twitter at ZachB_.
There you go. And if at ZachB or at Zach just wants to give their Twitter handle to Zach Bowden, just let us know.
Yes, please email me.
Please.
I'll buy it off you as well if you really want.
In any event, moving on from that, you can follow WinBeta on Twitter at WinBetaDOT.org. You can follow us on Google+, Facebook. We're not on Snapchat, and we're not going to change, I don't think. You find us wherever, all sorts of social media. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Listen to us on YouTube. You can join us live every week. Fridays, 3 p.m. EDT or 8 p.m. GMT, which is the standard WinBeta podcast time, I think, from now and for all eternity. So there you go. Is that it, Zach? We're good?
Yeah. Cadenza clarifying for us for the Office thing. You can't create new documents, but you can edit existing ones apparently, or something the other way around. Whatever.
So you got half an office. You got like a desk with 2 legs on it.
It's just ridiculous.
Anyway, all right. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.